Welcome back to Dubsy Bricks, and here we are in Gotham, and really excited to get starting with the mapping out of Gotham City. In the last update, we brought all of the Lego into the Lego room. Still got all the sorting to do, a lot of tidying to do, but we'll do that as and when we can. What I want to do this week is try and map out the roads and the train lines on the city. As I mentioned before, I think this is really going to help me visualize more how I want Gotham City to look. And it's also going to give me an idea of what buildings I can bring into Gotham in the future. There are a couple of locations that I'd really like to add, such as a hospital, but also a Joker funhouse with a roller coaster as well. And that's something I would really like to add to the build. I think it can give it a nice pop of colour. Now, one thing I have been thinking about is the back section over here, and I've got the docks there at the moment, and I don't think that's going to work. I think that needs to move first of all. And the reason being, I want to have one raised platform here and then a second raised platform on the side here. The second one on the side is going to be much higher up. Now, the problem is, by having the docks over here at the moment, you've got the waterfront here, and that means that the raised platform is going to be starting around about here, and it's going to go too far into the centre of the table. So if I remove the docks from here, I can bring the raised platform right to the edge, and I think that will look a lot better. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move the docks over to the other side of the table, and the plan is that the waterfront will go the whole length of the table. When it reaches the far end, you're going to have Wayne Manor and the Batcave. And what I think I'll do is I'll have the water so it goes more into the centre of the table. And another thing as well is I did originally, when I first started thinking about doing Gotham, is you had a channel of water that came in and went around the Wayne Tower as well, and I think I would, if I can, like to implement that as well. So there's lots of things that I need to work out with this, but yeah, it's so exciting. There's so much to do, and yeah, it's going to be a great journey. So I hope you enjoy coming along that journey with me. So what I'm going to start off by doing is I'm going to get a load of plates out, bricks out, and railway track, and I'm just going to start to map out where the roads are going to be in Gotham and the train track. If it is an elevated road or an elevated train, they will be elevated as well. Now, I know for a fact I've got nowhere near enough railway track, so that is something that I am going to have to get in. But again, I'll work out how many pieces short I am, and then I'll get that sorted. Now, over on this raised platform here, one thing I'm going to have is some space underneath to do some sort of buildings along here. Now, somebody has asked me that now that the city is going to be bigger, will I be putting a subway in? And I could potentially put a subway in the underside of the raised platform here, but it's only going to be sort of like a loop inside of here, and I don't know whether or not that's going to look very good. I don't particularly want to bring the train out onto the actual base plates themselves outside of here. The reason I'm elevating it is that it doesn't take up any extra room other than where the roads are. So whether or not I do that, I'm not sure. I might do a deserted, abandoned railway sort of like station, and I might have it there's some villains that are set up under there, and I think that might look quite good. But again, I'll have a good think about that. I'm not saying there's not going to be a subway, but it's not looking likely at the moment, I don't think, unless I ended up so all I did in the raised platforms, that everything was raised on this side of the build. So yeah, we'll just have a think about it. And progress is being made here, and much happier with this layout as it is at the moment. Brought the docks over to this side, so it's the first thing you see when you walk into the Lego room. And once I've moved the water line back so it's level with that there, I think that's going to look really good. Now, what I will do almost certainly is bring Ace Chemicals forward so it's actually on the waterfront. And I might have it so that some chemicals can be loaded onto a boat possibly. But yeah, that's all looking good. So these buildings here, they might end up being destroyed. And I might just make another freestanding building to go next to it. Now, what would be good is if I could bring this down just a little bit so it's not taking up too much room on this side here. As mentioned before, there will be a waterfront going all the way along. And what I would like to do is have something that comes along here that almost cordons this section off. So this is a rundown industrial part. And as we go up, shops or restaurants or banks or anything like that. So I just want to try and work out how I'm going to do that. But also I need to find somewhere to put the Joker's Funhouse. So whether or not that ends up being here, I'm not sure. It might not look quite right, but again, we can experiment with that further down the line. And as you can see over the far side there, we've got the Monarch Theatre and also the fire station. And all I need to do is build another building to go in this section just here. And also mend this building, because at the moment the fire exit or the exit to the theatre is around the back there, which means I won't have room for Crime Alley. And Crime Alley is going to need to go just here. In the centre here, we've got the raised road, and really happy to have this going down there. I think it's going to look really good once it's all been done properly. I want to have another road that runs underneath it, and one thing I do need to do is work out how wide I want the roads to be. Now, at the moment, I've got this car here, which with the wing mirrors on there as well, is 8 studs wide. And it would be quite nice if I could make that the absolute maximum width that a vehicle is at its widest point. So 16 studs is what I would need minimum, but realistically you're probably talking about 18 studs on the road. So I just need to try and get that work to so it looks the best it possibly can. I want to try and keep the roads as narrow as possible so they take up as little room as possible on the actual city itself. But yeah, we'll work that bit out. One thing I want to work out now is where I'm going to be putting the on and off ramps on this road here. And then the roads on this lower level, they're not so much of an issue at the moment. I think the thing I'm going to work on after the on-off ramps is the actual railway line and where that's going to go within the city. So let's do the ramps and let's get the railway track out and start working on that. And here we have the train track in the position I believe it's going to be in, and absolutely loving how this changes the city so much. Just by having the road and the train track in place, it's just enabled me to visualise a lot more of the city. And yeah, I can't wait to carry on building this up. I'm going to have to think of a good design for the supports, as in some places like outside of the Monarch Theatre, it's just a single pillar, and I might try and find a design where it's a single pillar all the way along. It might try and give it a modern look. And although I want the Gotham to have a really old feel to it as well, I also want there to be a new feel, more modern look and modern feel to it as well. Now, I've tried to keep the railway line as low as possible, but enabling there to be enough clearance with the actual road itself. And I think I've got it just about right. So if I have got a truck driving on there, it will be able to go along the bridge. And as you can see, I've got the 2 sets of ramps there that take you up to the raised road. They might be a little bit steep at the moment. I might make it so they're a little bit shallower, so it comes at a less of an angle. But again, I can worry about these details further down the line. But this is certainly a good start of working out what's going where. And again, it is helping massively with the future planning of the city. Now, this has used up all of my train track. I have not got any straights left. I think I've got 4 curves left, and I've even had to use a lot of these, as you can see over here, just so I could finish mapping it out on here. So I'm going to need to buy a lot more for the second train track, which will be going down the centre above the main road, and it's just going to be doing a loop around here. So I'm not sure how far up I come, whether I come around the old Wayne Tower as well. That might look quite cool, but we'll work out what track we need to order, and then we'll get that ordered in. But it might pay me to buy another train set, as I've only got 1 engine, and obviously I'm going to need 2, one for this and then one for that higher one further up. But yeah, a lot of progress has been made already. It's just, as I said, at this stage, planning it and mapping it all out. But yeah, loving every second of it. And it's another day here in the Lego room. I can't wait to get started again today. It was so much fun yesterday, mapping out the roads and the railway line around Gotham City. Now, I did upload a video yesterday, which was when the base plates were placed down and the buildings were just put in a rough position. And unfortunately, I had nothing but trouble with that video. The end kept getting chopped off. I didn't realise the first time. Somebody pointed it out. Tried it again, and the problem was even worse. It chopped even more of it off. Tried a third time, same problem. So in the end, I just uploaded the end of the video as a separate video. So apologies for those people that didn't see the end or had to watch 2 videos instead of 1 or rewatch 1. But yeah, we're trying to get to the bottom of what the problem was. I have contacted YouTube, so hopefully we'll be able to solve that going forward. In the video yesterday, there were some really useful comments in there. A couple of people mentioned on both YouTube and Discord about Arkham Asylum, that it's too close to Wayne Manor, which is going to be here, and I do agree. And trying to find a solution for it has been something I've been really struggling with. Somebody did suggest actually moving Arkham down to the opposite end of the table, and it was something I was considering doing, but I couldn't think of a way that I could make it work because of having the raised platform here and then a high raised platform along the end there. However, what I think I might do is this section here, the train track and all the buildings that are either in it or to the other side of it, move that all the way down the table by 1 or possibly 2 base plates. Instead of having the Batcave and Wayne Manor here, I'll move it over into that corner over there where Arkham currently is. And then what I'll do, I'll bring Arkham Asylum down to this corner here, so it'll be behind the second raised platform. Now, I'll probably build it up on some rockwork so it's a little bit higher up, otherwise I feel like it might just be lost behind the raised platform and the buildings that will go on top of it. And what I'm also considering doing is building a Blackgate prison next to it. The other good thing as well with doing that is the train track here, where it curves here, instead of that curve being there, it's going to be that much further up. So this section here all of a sudden becomes free to go up as tall as I want to do so. And what I'm considering doing is putting the Joker Funhouse roller coaster in this section here. It's not going to be massive, but it's just sort of a box to tick to say, yeah, that's on the mock. And I'll try and make it look as good as possible within the limited space that's going to be there. Now, with this section here, this is what I'm going to be concentrating on today. As I know that Docs is definitely going to be in this corner, Ace Chemicals is definitely going to be over there. However, the Ace Chemicals is probably going to be rotated, and as I mentioned earlier, I'm possibly going to change it so you can see inside the building from a cut section out of the back of it. At least I can work on this section here today, which will be good. Try and get as much of that mapped out as possible and try and work out where the roads are going to be behind the actual docks itself, where the loading lorries are going to be and things like that. So first of all, I'm going to remove those buildings just there, as they're not going to be staying, I don't think. I'll probably just replace the base plates to start with in case I do need any of the structure. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be working on first of all. And I changed my mind on what to do next. I was going to work on this section, however, I couldn't resist it. I had to move Arkham Island down to this end and move the train track up just to see if it looked any better. And I am feeling that we're on the right tracks here. I think it's going to be much better having it this way round. So again, thanks to those people that have sort of like mentioned that they think that having Arkham next to Wayne Manor wasn't going to look right. I do totally agree. And it was something that was on the back of my mind, but it's nice when people just confirm the thoughts that you were having yourself. But yeah, here it is. Arkham is down this end now. It will be totally different by the time we've finished doing it. The water will almost certainly be gone, as will all that dust. But one thing I am considering doing is moving the whole thing back to the edge of the table. And with Arkham, I would like it, so the same as I was mentioning with Ace Chemicals, have it so you can see in the back of the build. So from the front here, when you're looking at the city, it just all looks like complete buildings. But when you go around the back, that's when you can see all the little stories that are going on inside Arkham. At the moment, if you wanted to look at the maximum security section, which is in here, you've got to take the whole building off. And I'd much sooner that if people come around, they want to have a look at Gotham City, they can see all of those details without me having to take the buildings off of the top of the structure. So I think it would be much better and a lot nicer looking to have the backs on there. So as long as there's nothing going on at the back of the building like the exercise yard is at the moment, if I can move that to the side, I think it will be much better. So with the train track, it's coming down now, and I'm thinking about changing it again, extending this straight along here, and then have the curve come behind the GCPD. I would like the GCPD to not have anything in front of it, so it's right on the waterfront. I think that will look a lot better. So I might just move that train track behind there, so that's not a problem at all. Now when we come down to this end here, originally Wayne Manor and the Batcave was going to be in this corner. However, I'm now considering the far corner over there, so it's further away from the train line, and I'm considering having the rock work come along at an angle, so trying to get away from as many sort of like straight lines or squares as possible so it doesn't look like a grid. So that's what I'm considering at the moment. But one thing I am wondering about is, will it be better to have a Wayne Manor and a Batcave, or to have a kind of Batcave below the Wayne Tower instead? Will Wayne Manor look out of place in the city, as obviously it's not actually in the city itself? So I'm not sure if I can make it look out of there as sort of like so it's out of the city enough, but it's something I just need to think about. I think it could look potentially really cool having some really good rock work over the back there with some trees on it, just to give it a pop of colour, and then the Wayne Manor looking out over the city. So yeah, I'm still deciding on it, but yeah, be interested to hear what your guys' thoughts are on there. Anyway, now that we've made these changes, I can finally get to working on the docks area. And some progress has been made here in the docks area. I've extended it on both ends here now, so it's all how it's going to be looking. Still need to do the tiling obviously on both ends there. And I've put a barrier up between Ace Chemicals and the Falcone factory. And what I need to do after I've done the tiling is create a building that's going to go on the end section just here. And I want to have it so the building is one I can just remove whenever I want to. So if I want to modify it, change it, or whatever, I can do so. So I'm going to tile below it, and then so the building just rests on there. And further down the line, I will change these as well, so I can do the same thing. Now, so what I need to do is work out how I'm going to have this finishing off, whether I put some rock work coming out possibly, I'm not sure. So I just need to have a good think about that to work out what I wish to do with that. Now with the Ace Chemical plant, I've rotated it around this way, and what I need to do is move the Ace sign that's currently on that side onto this side here. And I'll probably do that when I modify the building so that you can see in the back of the Ace Chemical plant. Then just need to put the sign back on the top. I'm not sure where that's disappeared to. But yeah, really pleased with the progress managed to get done over the last couple of days. It has been so much fun doing that. And the railway line, I still have to move that curve just there so it's over. But I can do that when it comes to putting the proper pillars in, I think. But yeah, trying to work out exactly what goes where is going to take such a long time, but we'll just do it as we go along. And as I mentioned earlier, I want to do it so all the buildings I can just move around without moving the mills plate that they're actually resting on. So one thing that it may very well pay me to do is mills plate the entire area, put the roads in where they're going to go, and then I'll just have the sections where the buildings are going to rest on top. And it might be the quicker and easier way to move things around, because at the moment, if I wanted to move the GCPD, it's on to the 32 by 32 base plates. So if I wanted to move it over here, I've got to completely change the base plates because these are 48 by 48s. So I just need to try and make it as easy as possible for myself going forward. But this is so much fun, and it's really good getting feedback from you guys. If there's things you think could look better in a different way, please pop in the comments, because it does help massively. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this update. If you have, please remember to give us a big thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content on the channel. And if you know anybody else that's into Gotham or Batman, if you could share the channel with them, it'd be much appreciated. Anyway, thanks for hopping on by, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.